All right. I would like to tell you all the participants to wait for a while because there is still one presenter that haven't been here. So please wait until 1. Good afternoon, Mr. Abdul Rashid.
Good afternoon.
Are you willing to be the first presenter because Miss Indah has not here?
Oh, all right then. Okay, never mind.
All right. So before starting, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm
morning.
sorry. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome
Good
to
afternoon.
room 9 of parallel session 2 of LLTC 2022. My name is Elza, and I will be the PIC of this room. I will also act as a teamkeeper and will be reminding the presenter verbally 2 minutes before the time is up. In this parallel session, each team will have 15 minutes to present and 5 minutes for the Q&A session. Each presentation will be moderated by the next presenter. So without any further ado, let's begin with the first presentation by Mr. Abdul Rashid. And this presentation will be moderated by Miss Oyun. So, Miss Oyun and Mr. Abdul, the time is yours.
Okay, can I start now?
Okay. It is a pleasure to welcome Abdul Rashid, Universities of Pakuan, Indonesia. The title of the paper is Students Self-Directed Language Learning in a Pronunciation Class Assisted by Captioned Videos and Narrative Inquiry. So you can start now.
Okay, thank you very much for the time, Miss. Sorry, I cannot find the name of the moderator. Sorry, Miss Oyun. Yeah, okay, thank you very much for the time, Miss Oyun. Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself. My name is Abdul Rashid. Am I audible enough in your place, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, right. Okay, my name is Abdul Rashid. I am from Indonesia, from Pakuan University. It is located in Bogor. First thing first, let me share my screen. Just allow me to share my screen. Okay, yeah. In this kind of opportunity, I would like to present the results of my research, yeah, entitled Students Self-Directed Language Learning in a Pronunciation Class Assisted by Captioned Videos. It is narrative inquiry. My colleague and I conducted this research in Pakuan University for about 3 months. Okay, the first part of the presentation is about the introduction. Okay, why do I choose conducted this research about self-directed language learning and also about a pronunciation class and also about captioned videos? Because when I read a very interesting journals, I stumbled on two different interesting statements. The first statement is learning occurs in a variety of settings, including informal, out of school settings. we all know, realize that in this era, the process of teaching and learning nowadays do not only happen in a real classroom or inside the classroom, but also the process of teaching and learning can happen outside the classroom. And formal learning, what we always called as teaching and learning inside the classroom, and informal learning, what's so called as a teaching and learn process outside the classroom. There is a very interesting statement. Formal learning is like riding a bus. The driver decides where the bus is going. The passengers are along for the ride. However, informal learning is like riding a bike. The rider chooses the destination, the speed, and the route. Yeah, we can see the difference between formal and informal learning. It can be seen from the statement that informal learning is like riding a bike. The rider chooses the destination, the speed, and the route. It means that though the rider in riding a bike, they have a freedom to do what they want to do, but at least they know exactly the destination of their riding. Okay, the next one is, there is a statement that learning a foreign language is a difficult task that requires mastery of various linguistic dimensions, especially for vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. In the site or in Papua University, English is our foreign language because most of the students who join Papua University, they come from different area in Bogor. They also come from different area in West Java. So most of them do not speak in Bahasa Indonesia, but most of them speak in their mother tongue language. Some, for example, they speak with Javanese or Sundanese language. Therefore, learning a foreign language is quite challenging for them, especially in pronunciation point of view. Why pronunciation is challenging? Why pronunciation is a difficult task? Because learning pronunciation for my students is challenging because they have already spoken with their mother tongue for a couple of years. So there will be a big probability that their pronunciation will be interfered by their mother tongue. The next one is about limited amount of input. Based on their experience having an English subjects in their junior and senior high school, yeah, the limited input given by the teachers is very limited. Yeah, most of the teachers in that schools only focuses on teaching the students with everything related with text. Probably they teach the students to speak English, but without any feedback dealing with pronunciation. And also, when it goes to giving input in terms of English, sometimes the input is often accented because the teachers are not native speakers. Of course, the teachers also have their own mother tongue, so it influences the way they speak English. And also, the next one is the scarcity of foreign language exposure outside the classroom. Probably because of the limited time given by the teacher inside the classroom, but also the limited knowledge of the teachers to provide activities outside the classroom. It makes learning foreign language is difficult, especially learning pronunciation becomes a very challenging topic for the students. Why do I interested talking about self-directed language learning and also MAL or mobile assisted language learning? Okay, there is an argument from Dew argues that self-directed learning encourages motivation, critical thinking, self-evaluation skills, and instills interest in lifelong learning, necessary in a global economy and information-centered society. Then Lai suggests that we should intentionally use technologies that can be used autonomously so that learners can increase their motivation to learn, develop learning strategies, and learn how to benefit from the feedback provided. Yeah, from this point of view, I believe that in this era where every students can access their mobile device anytime and anywhere they want, so in every single teaching and learning activities and every single teaching and learning context, we should integrate the teaching and learning process with technology. Yeah, and from this point of view, we can underline that the technology is when we talk about self-directed language learning, we can integrate it with technology. Okay. The next one is technology enables students to have technology competence, and technology enhanced instruction supports student-centered classroom in which discovery learning and autonomous learners arise. Yeah, it can be stated that when we as a teacher can motivate our students to use their technology for the sake of their teaching and learning process, they can be a discovery learner, and also at the same time they can also be autonomous learners. And as we know that the students right now, every one of them use their mobile device. So the use of mobile device in the teaching and learning process is gaining recognition as a technology capable of bridging formal and informal settings in foreign language learning. There are so many applications that can support the students in learning a foreign language by using their mobile device. Okay, so why captioned videos? Okay, first thing first, let me explain why captioned video is. Captioned videos is a video, spoken in English and also completed with English subtitles. Yeah, why do I choose captioned videos? Mayors principles of multimedia learning claim that the dual processing of auditory and visual information promotes learning by strengthening mental representation of perceived objects. Yeah, it means that when the students want to learn a new vocabulary, or when the students want to learn how to pronounce word, yeah, they will be able to pronounce. There will be it's going to be easier for them to know exactly how to say the word when they see the word itself. Yeah, so caption video, yeah, influences the caption video encourages the students to learn new vocabulary and also to learn pronunciation at the same time. And the research objectives is for answering the question, to what extent does the use of caption video in learning English pronunciation encourage students' self-directed language learning? And the focus of self-directed language learning in this study is based on Garrison's dimensions. Yeah, it includes motivation, self-management, and self-monitoring. And the method of this study, especially in displaying the data, is a narrative inquiry, and the data is collected through students' reflection diary. During four different weeks, I assigned the participants to watch the videos completed with subtitles. They have a freedom to choose the videos themselves. They also have the freedom to watch as many videos as they want. And after that, after they watch the videos completed with subtitle, I assigned them to write their experience dealing with pronunciation. And also I administer questionnaire containing 15 15 closed statement. And I also conducted an interview in order to get a deep depth information dealing with students' experience, yeah, especially their self-directed language learning after learning pronunciation with using caption videos. And the findings, yeah, as I told you in advance, that the focus of self-directed language learning is based on Garrison's dimension. So the findings will be all displayed through this three different indicators. The first indicators is motivation dimension. Dealing with motivation dimension, it is found that caption videos can sustain students' motivation to learn pronunciation, since the student can find the way how to pronounce words correctly, and at the same time, they learn new vocabularies based on the context of the video. And also, from self-management point of view, it is found out that the flexibility to access the videos anytime promotes students to be able to manage their time for learning and selecting the resources based on their interest. Yeah, because as I told you in advance that at the first meeting, I actually provided a video myself, yeah, taken from taken from YouTube or VoiceTube or any kinds of or TED Talks or any kinds of video that is completed with subtitles. Yeah, and from the next one, from self-monitoring dimension, it is found that caption videos helps the students to integrate the concepts of how to produce English sounds theoretically with how to pronounce the words uttered in the videos. And having a freedom to select the videos to watch and to replay them many times the students need gives a positive experience of doing a repetition on pronouncing words containing difficult sounds for them to produce. Yeah, since, yeah, I have mentioned in advance that my students are from different areas of Bogor and different areas of West Java. So the exposure of English is the exposure of English is very limited. So it always becomes a problem for my students to pronounce certain sounds of English, for example, taken from vowel, or even taken from diphthongs, or even taken from consonants. And by having the freedom to select the videos to watch and to play it many times they want, they can actually focus to find the words containing the most difficult sounds they think. They can repeat it many times they want, and they can finally find out how to pronounce the words and the sounds correctly. But there is actually an interesting findings. Yeah, since this research is conducted to English department students, so it means that I teach my students, phonetic transcription. Yeah, and based on the findings, based on their point of view, that when they actually can find out the way how to pronounce the word by watching the videos completed with subtitles. However, sometimes they got difficulties to pronounce certain words, even they have already watched the videos many times. Then the next strategy that they apply is they look up the dictionary and try to see the phonetic symbols from the words. And after that, they will try to imitate the way how the native speaker, or the way how the speaker in the video uttered the word, by again checking the dictionary, completed with a phonetic transcription. And for the
Mr.
conclusion,
Abdul, you have 2 minutes left.
yes, okay, this is the last slide. Yeah, thank you very much for reminding. And the conclusion, I'm not going to conclude the result of my research, but I'm going to give a notice that self-directed learning may give the impression, that a process in which that it is a process in which learners act independently. Yet, learning cannot take place without other associations. In self-directed learning, students are expected to reach and acquire the knowledge independently, at least to some extent. Nevertheless, a learner may become independent in a certain situation with the support provided by the teacher. It means that the role of the teacher, the existence of the teacher in the classroom, is still number one. No matter what methodology, or no matter what teaching medias, or no matter what technologies that we are going to apply, the existence of us as a teacher in the classroom is still number one. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for the effective and interesting presentation, Mr. Abdul Rashid. So the presentation is briefly about the research tool was the captioned videos as one of the mobile assisted language learning, and qualitative methods such as questionnaire and interview were used. And the research was conducted based on the Garrison's dimension. It is included self-directed learning, motivation, self-management, and self-monitoring. So the captioned video sustained the students' motivation to learn pronunciation due to the context of the video, correct pronunciation of the words, and access flexibility. And this type of video helped for students to integrate the concepts of how to produce English sounds theoretically, and how to pronounce the words uttered in the videos. So now we have 5 minutes for questions and discussions about the research paper. If someone has any questions, you can mention the researcher's full name and affiliation. And next, you can ask your questions. So, dear instructors and teachers, do you have any questions for Mr. Abdul Rashid? Okay, so I have a question for Abdul Rashid. So was there any control or treatment group in your research?
Okay, control and treatment. Since this is not an experiment, this is only for trying to find out their experience having captioned video in encouraging their self-directed language learning. So I didn't have any experiment on control group. Mhm.
Caption
Thank you very
video
much.
has subtitles, so it is the best way and suitable way to increase the students' pronunciation and word lexic knowledge. So thank
Yes,
you.
of course. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next presentation is my article, right?
Yes. It's my turn to be a moderator, Miss Elza.
Apparently, the Q&A session for Mr. Abdul is still 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, please, Bu Marcelina. Oh, okay. Actually, this is the, what is it? This is actually the apa namanya ya? What is it called? The weakness of this study. Yeah, the weakness of this study. I haven't focused on trying to find out how the students making sure that their pronunciation is correct or not. Yeah, but actually, although this is not the main data of this study, at the end of the time, after the students having watching the video for many times, I actually tasted them having an oral test. So I am the one who assessed my students when they pronounce the word. Yeah, but since the main method of this study is narrative inquiry, so I do not display the data dealing with the score of my students. Yeah. Thank you very much for the question.
Okay, thank you.
Because the time is up for Mr. Abdul's presentation.
Okay,
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul, for the insightful discussion. Now let us move to the next presentation, which will delivered by Mrs. Ogum Aiden Tumurbat and Mrs. Namun, and will be moderated by Miss Indah. So the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Miss Elza. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so sorry for being late, and I'm so sorry. Actually, I am in public places now, so yeah, maybe the voice is unclear, or I'm so sorry for that. Okay, the next presentation will be delivered by Miss Oyun Erdene Tumarbat from Mandah University, Mongolia, with her title Study on English Language Evaluation Standard. For Miss Oyun, it's yours. Miss Oyun. Miss Zelza, can hear my voice clearly?
Yes, your voice is audible, Miss Indah.
Okay.
Miss Oyun, the time is yours to present your presentation.
I think she is still muted.
Okay, sorry for delay. Now, how can I share my PPT? New share.
Have you opened the PPT, Miss Oyun?
Ah, yes.
Okay, maybe you
Is
can
it
stop
okay?
sharing first. Yeah, right. It's on the screen now.
Okay, good afternoon, dear researchers and organizing committee of the conference. And we are Yorton Tumurbat Namum Sirklan, lecturers of Mandak University from Mongolia. The subject of our article is Study on English Language Evaluation Standards. So my talk will be in 8 parts of necessity, research purpose, research method, literature review, evaluation standard, research findings, conclusion, and reference. Okay. Okay, these are the contents of my article. This is necessity. The first necessity is one of the internationally recognized criteria of a country is English language proficiency. And the next necessity is the question of how to objectively assess the level of English proficiency of students has been raised nowadays.
Sorry, Miss Oyun, the PPT does not change yet.
Doesn't change. So how can I solve the problem?
Maybe you have to out first.
Okay, so,
Oh,
okay, is it okay now?
yes.
Yes, okay. So this slide shows the necessity of our article. There are 4 necessities, as you can see. The first is one of the internationally recognized criteria of a country is English language proficiency. And they have to objectively assess English language proficiency has been raised nowadays, and evaluation is crucial to students' effective learning, and its improvement and refinement are crucial issues. The last necessity is it is unavoidable to determine the appropriate evaluation system of English language level internationally. So based on this necessity, our purpose is to reveal the evaluation standards used in universities and English language training courses in our country, which is Mongolia, and to clarify how the standard tolerates with the internationally accepted English language evaluation standards. So this is the methodology. And we use both qualitative and quantitative methods, and 3 contents of 24 questions were formulated on Google Form. And the starting research works related to the topic about which of the evaluation methods. The first evaluation method is the 100-point system. The next is SAFER standard, are used to evaluate the students' English language proficiency in our country's universities and training centers, and how it conforms to internationally recognized evaluation standards. So the data were collected from 656 students studying English and 27 teachers of universities and 22 teachers of language training courses using Google Form on 5 Likert scale. And the results were processed by SBS, especially frequency and cross-tabulation. The scope of this study was limited to universities and English language training courses in accordance with our assumption that the evaluation method used in English language training courses will be more in line with international evaluation standards. That was our assumption. So the survey was conducted over a period of 7 months from March to October 2022. And the literature review in Mongolia, there are so many articles related to our topic, but I have chosen these articles. Besides this, the government of our country has issued policy documents such as National Program of English language education 1 and 2, quality of English language education 2000 and 2008, and measures to support universal English learning 2021. So related to these documents, some Mongolian linguists conducted these following 3 articles. So in 2021, researcher also made a survey named English language testing and assessment of e-learning in Mongolia, focused on commonly used international system of CEFR standard. But the Bakhbatur J has written an article named Language and Education Planning Evaluation Policy in Mongolia. His brief points is related to language acquisition planning evaluation policy in Mongolian educational institutions and English language proficiency testing. But in the abroad, there are so many articles related to our topic, and I have chosen like these articles. So exploring the implementation of the CEFR in Asian contexts, developmental stages and CEFR levels in foreign language learners speaking and writing, issues on assessment using CEFR in the region, Asia making the grade, a history of the A, B, C, D, E, F marking scheme. Generally, in the studies, as I mentioned, the language of policy, students' English language acquisition, and how to evaluate language learning in an e-learning, as well as difference of CEFR 2001 and 2018, and grades of 100-point scale were mainly presented in these articles. But compared to these papers, importance of our study is that it addresses the appropriateness of the CEFR standard and the 100-point system and the most commonly used evaluation standards for English language learning. And this is the first standard, which is CEFR standard. This means Common European Framework Reference, as you can see, which describes the process of language learning, teaching, and assessment. This standard is a major work initiated and implemented by the European Union with the aim of improving communication between European countries and supporting language learning and multilingual education. In CEFR 2001, vantage and wastage levels were introduced, but the CEFR 2018 focused on a new framework for assessing language processes that wasn't included in 2001 standard. Also, in order to facilitate the organization of lessons and to determine success according to the CEFR language mapping scheme for users and learners, 6 levels of language are issued, and more specific evaluation, they are called dismiss, previous, upper, or advanced level concepts have been added. So now these levels are named beginner, elementary, intermediate, and something like that. Okay, and there is a can-do descriptors of CEFR standard. And in CEFR 2018, proficiency levels are formulated below, and you are looking from the slide, so I can skip this slide and the next. What is the advantage of using CEFR standard? The researchers has chosen these 4 advantages is the most flexible. So the first is it will serve as a basis for language curriculum development, and the second is language skills are clearly expressed in a manner consistent with international standards. And in addition to the everyday communication, it is possible to engage in communication on a professional level using professional language. Then, due to the strict evaluation system, transparency of the rules, and the wide selection of materials, it will be a bridge for teachers and students to learn and develop independently. So this is the second grading scale, which is named 100-point scale. So this is the first numerical grading was used at Harvard University in 1830 using a scale of just 20. In 1837, professors of mathematics and philosophy began using the 100-point scale, and by the 1940s, and 100-point scale had become the dominant grading system, and over time, it began to be used along with two different systems. The first is 4.0 scale, and the second is from A to F letter grading. In this way, letter grades are tied to a 100-point scale, and A is measured between 90 to 100, and B is measured by 80 to 89, etc. And there is an evaluation indicator, same as the SAFER standard. So an assessment that indicates the highest level of mastery of the learning content expected of the learner. This is the A-level student. So you are looking at this slide, so I'll skip this slide. And this is the main part of our research findings. Okay, correspondence. So now we come to the core point, which is our research findings. We conducted this survey in 3 types of informants, as I mentioned earlier. A total of 49 teachers participated in our study, and 27 of them work in public and private universities operating in Mongolia, and 22 work in English language training courses. And as shown in the following table, about 30% of all teachers have 1 to 5 years of experience, and 32.1% have 6 to 10 years of experience, and 24.3% are the teachers with 11 to 15 years of teaching experience. And evaluation is standard. So when the teachers who participated in the study were asked what standard they use for the final evaluation or diploma and certification, 96% of the university teachers use the 100-point scale, while 68.5% of the training center teachers gave different answers that they use Common European Framework standard. This is SAFER. So it can be seen that our country doesn't use established standards for language ability assessment. So this is only minority of all respondents. 18.5% of university teachers and 9.1% of the training center teachers agree that a 100-point scale is a methodology consistent with the international level. And this slide shows about 69% of all teachers agree that the SAFER standard will make students' language level more accurate and when they study and work in foreign countries. So it is necessary to further evaluate students' language skill by international reference standards. 96.5% of all teachers said that it is appropriate to use international standards in the final evaluation of language teaching.
Excuse me, Ms.
So-
Ayun, your time is 2 minutes left.
Okay. So this is the findings about the students. So in our research, 656 students participated, and out of 656 students, okay, so I'll skip this because time is running, and the students' English proficiency level by 100-point scale. In the table, 385 students, which is 58.5% of all the respondents evaluated their language proficiency is measured between 70 to 89%. From the figure, an average value is at 3.22, which indicates a learning rate of same person to the table 1. The second is students' English proficiency level by SAFER standard, as shown in the table and graph above. The majority of students, this is 32.5% rated themselves as intermediate level and 95% as advanced and intermediate level and 19% as basic knowledge. So this is consistent with the data in table 1. So consistency about the evaluation standards by students. From the table, it is clear that the SAFER standard is preferred English language evaluation of students with 42.7% of all participants. This indicates that students are willing to have their language skills assessed using an evaluation system that meets international standards like SAFER. So this is conclusion. It can be concluded based on the objectives and results of our research for the final evaluation of students' English language ability, and university teachers primarily use a 100-point scale, and most of the teachers at training centers use SAFER. So all the teachers agreed that evaluating the students' language level with a 100-point scale would make it difficult for them to study and work at the international level in terms of clarity of the assessment, and they believed that Common European Framework reference would be a more objective assessment of the students' English level. And on the other hand, 42% of the students who participated in the study expressed that their desire to have their English language skills evaluated by the SAFER, and 39.5% answered that they didn't know which standard to evaluate. So in summary, different evaluation methods are used in English courses of universities and training centers in our country. It is likely to confuse teachers and students, leading to the conclusion that it is appropriate to use a united assessment system in line with international standards in the future. Okay, so this is the reference, and that we use it as theoretical background. And I'd like to thank you for the taking time out to listen to my presentation.
Okay, thank you, Miss Oyun.
Okay.
Now, for other participants, maybe there's some question addressed to Miss Oyun.
Ms. Indra, Mr. Marcus maybe want to ask something.
Pardon?
Mr. Marcus raised his hand. Maybe he want to ask something.
WhatsApp number.
Yes, I do.
Sorry,
May
I
I?
can.
May I?
Yes, Mr. Marcus.
Yes, brother.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you, Ms. Oyun, for your presentation. Here in Indonesia, especially at my university, we knew what CEFR is, but we rarely use that as a reference. My question is, what are common challenges to use the CFR for the assessment of huge number of students? That's my first question. And the second question is, what are common problems faced by Mongolian students, say, in comparison to other Asian countries? So there are two questions. Well, I guess my question is very only informative, but I guess I need to hear that from your perspective. Thank you.
Miss Oyun.
Are my questions understood? Oh, because still Miss Oyun is still muted.
Sorry, Miss Oyerton's microphone is just problematic. And can I answer the question, the first question? I
Oh.
am the co-worker.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Yes. So you asked that what common challenge to use CEFR with huge number of students, right?
Right. Get it.
Okay. In our opinion, there should not be there would be any challenge to use SCFR because it makes the it makes the skills of students more qualified. So we should use the SAFR standards for a huge number of students. There would be no challenge, in our opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry for
Is it okay
interrupting,
now?
Mr.
Is
Oyun.
my voice clear?
I'm sorry for
Okay.
interrupting, but your time is up. We have to move to the next presenter.
Okay.
So the next presentation will be conducted by Ms. Indah Puspitasari and will be moderated by Mr. Abdul Rashid. So without any further ado, the time is yours.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Ms. Zelzel, for letting me to be the moderator for Ms. Inda's presentation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to listen to the presentation from Ms. Indah in Puspitasari. Okay, she is from STKIP PGRI Indonesia, and her research is the use of the British Council Learn English web platform for students' grammar mastery. Ms. Indah, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abdul. Good afternoon, everybody. And then I'm so sorry here because I'm not in a good or conducive place to have for having presentation. May I share my video presentation, Mr. Abdul?
Okay, please then.
Okay. Gimana caranya? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, moderators, the presenters, and all participants of the International Language and Language Teaching Conference 2022. Let me introduce myself. My name is Indah Puspitasari, and in this time I'd like to present my article with title The Use of British Council Learn English Web Platform for Students Grammar Mastery.
In learning English, there are several things that must be learned by language learners, including grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Grammar is a set of rules in which words are combined or put together to make correct sentences which are meaningful in order to speak and write properly and effectively. Conducting English grammar still makes most of the students do the mistake. Some previous studies prove that grammatical rules still become the difficult problem faced by the student in learning English. There are still many students who have problems in conducting English grammar. In studying the structure of grammar can be done by learning through practice. It is not enough to practice just one practice, but it takes time repeatedly to do the exercises. The 21st century, the development of theory is characterized by the use of information and communication technology in the teaching and learning process. It is said by Effendi, Wahidi, and Mardiah in the research. And then in language learning, there are various methods and technology-based media that can be applied. There are several technology can be used in learning grammar, such as Duolingo, Babel, Bilingual, Usu, Grammarly, Rosetta Stone, HelloTalk, BBC Learning English, FluentU, Memrise, and British Council Learn English. British Council is one of the websites that can be used to support education. The British Council website provides various information on arts and culture, education, and the English language. On this website, there is English course information for all groups, including children, teenagers, adults, parents, and educators. The English course is paid, while the English practice is free and can be accessed by anyone using the internet. English practice on the British Council website provides low, intermediate, and high level. In British Council and English web platform, we can practice our English grammar with clear grammar explanations and test our understanding. The learning materials in this web platform are organized into two sections of English level. That is first level, A1, A2, and then the second level, B1 and B2. In the first level, it is for learners at A1 means elementary or A2 means pre-intermediate English level. In this section, student can improve their knowledge with clear and simple grammar lesson. And then in the second level, B1 and B1, B2 for the learners at B1 means intermediate or B2 means upper intermediate in English level. In this section, they can improve grammar with clear and simple grammar lesson. In British Council Learn English web platform, the learners can decide which area of grammar they need and they can choose a grammar point to work on. When the learners do the interactive exercises, they can see how well they have done. By revising and practicing their grammar, our grammar, we will increase our knowledge in English and improve our language level. Objective of the study, determine the students' perception of technology using the British Council Learn English web platform to expand their grammar mastery. This research is descriptive qualitative, and by using purposive sampling, there were 38 students from the third semester in the English study program of STKI PPGRI Pacitan became selected sample. The result of the study showed that there were certain numbers of students who still had difficulties in understanding simple grammar materials, and there were 25 students who needed efforts to enhance their grammar mastery. From this figure can be seen that there were 34% students who still had difficulties here, such in using adjective or preposition, articles, simple past, simple tenses, patterns, and so on. And then there were 66% students who needed efforts to enhance their grammar mastery. Scope difficulties face such as the using of adjective, preposition. So, for example, I'm interested in the idea, or she's brilliant at maths. Interested in and brilliant at, the using of adjective and preposition here. And then the second one, the using of articles, simple tense patterns, conditional, passive voice, and then the using of modals. The student perception of using the British Council Learn English web platform are the 15 students declare that this application could not be used to improve their grammar mastery. At the same time, 12 students state it was capable enough to enhance theirs. Besides, 8 students claim that the application effectively increased their grammar mastery. We can see the percentage of student perceptions of using the British Council in English web platform from this slide. Here, there are 42% students say that this application could not be used to improve their grammar mastery. It means that there are some factors maybe influence, such as student motivation to learn English, and also there are supported materials to access this web platform technology, because this is online, must be online, and student needs internet quota to access it. And then there are 36 students, 36% of the student which say that this technology was capable enough to enhance theirs. Means that some student, there are some efforts due by the student to improve their knowledge in understanding grammar. And in the last, there are 22% of 22% of the students say that the application effectively increase their grammar mastery. Means that some students try to expand their knowledge in learning English by exploring some free and available research in the internet, like British Council Learn English web platform. Okay, and then next. Okay, more than half of the students, about 60%, agreed that there were positive responses to using this technology. Such the features of choosing test level were interactive and easy to operate. Besides, in the British Council and English web platform, also available with grammar explanation and exercises for practice, so it can help students more understand in grammar. Okay, and then while the students' negative response is it needs supporting internet quota in the usage, so it become an obstacle for students who live in the blank spot area in Pacitan. For conclusion of this article or this presentation is the British Council and English work platform can be used for students to expand their grammar mastery. Proved by the result of the study, the student perception toward the existence of this technology is more than 60% agree that there were positive response in using this technology by, for example, such the features of using test level were interactive, easy to understand, and easy to operate. Then that's all for our presentation. If there's no if there is some question, you may contact me in this phone number. I will reply your questions soon. Well, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Okay. Ibu Indah, Miss Indah, can you just stop your share? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just already listened to the presentation from Ibu Indah, who discussed the use of technology-based media, yeah, to learn grammar, and the focus of the research is for investigating students' perception, yeah, and the result of the study showed that more than 60% of the students feel like learning grammar by using this website, yeah, the British Council of English web platform, yeah, help them to master the grammar. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, Ms. Zelda has informed me that our time is about to run. So I'm afraid that we are not going to be able to manage on time. So there will be no question and answer session. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Miss Indah, and also Mr. Abdul for the last presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have finished our parallel session. After this, we will directly leave this breakout room and return again to the main room for the plenary session. And if you still have some questions that has not been answered by the presenter, you can kindly contact the presenter via email. And thank you very much for the fruitful discussion and have a great day. You may leave this breakout room. Thank you.